Well, news of the day. Let's do some of that. Not a ton of stuff today, but you know what? There's some important stuff going on. There's some stuff to discuss. So we'll do like a discussion kind of thing as well. Marincin and Petan are on waivers for Toronto. See, they got Zach Hyman coming back. They've already got Tavares back. Due to cap reasons, it's going to be interesting to see how many players they carry. I don't know that they're going to be able to do a full 23. They're right up against it. Now, I don't think either Marincin or Petan are going to get claimed. We'll see what ends up happening with that because there's been some unusual claimings that have happened recently, so you just never know. But for Toronto, it is a challenge. It is a challenge to put a team on the ice that's going to be cap compliant right now. And we'll see what they do today. And I wanted to talk about the rules. We have not talked very much about goalie interference. We haven't been talking a whole lot about a lot of offside goals, and I know people are going to point out, well, remember this game and this game. No, not like the last few years, where I've had entire videos where I've had to say, all right, what is goalie interference? What isn't goalie interference? I don't think there's any less goalie interference going on. I think it's just a matter of coaches saying, and it just has not been as controversial. It felt like at points last year and the year before, we had nights where every single game had a goal that was challenged for goalie interference. And it'd be a goalie getting nudged. And sometimes they said, okay, that crosses the line. And sometimes they didn't. And then as fans, we'd look and go, those are the same incident. What the heck? Why is this one goalie interference and that one isn't? And I agreed with all of the criticism that was being leveled at the NHL at that point. As soon as they said, you know what, it'll be a penalty if you ask us. And not only that, but the fact they've made it so you can challenge for pretty much anything. Seeing a goal challenge the other night because, hey, he hit that in with a broken stick. The fact you can challenge for that now is fantastic. It is a shame we went through all the muck we went through in the playoffs this past spring to get here, but we're here. And it looks like the NHL's really got the rules working pretty darn well. We'll find out where they're broken in the first round of the playoffs in April. But for right now, everything looks good. I had a vote on the community page of this channel just for the whole Winter Classic debate. No, I'm not going to make it so that they're both so either Dallas or Nashville, and I didn't make it so that you could pick neither because then we get into the whole neither thing. I didn't like the Boston Winter Classic last year until I saw it up close and I went, oh, actually that's really cool. So Dallas won 76% to 24% for Nashville, so there you go. And I can't vote. I create a poll. I can't vote. No, I didn't switch out to the entertainment guy and vote. That'd be so lame to do that just for one vote, which would kind of just muck the whole thing up. So I didn't vote, and I just looked at the result before I made this video, and there you go. It's a jersey that you may look at and say, well, it's just a one-off. They usually aren't. Winter Classics, if they're popular, they can become the third jersey. Chicago this year is supposed to wear their Winter Classic from last year as an alternate, as a third. So if they sell well and people like them, they're a third. Boston should have done that, but they've gone with something really generic instead. I don't think it's officially been revealed yet, but it leaked a couple months ago. It's on Aesthetics that it leaked, and it's just kind of generic and boring. The Oilers, coming out of last night's game, there's a few articles I've been reading on how they have scoring depth issues, and this revealed they have depth issues. We know. That's why McDavid and Draisaitl are on the ice all the time. And I think it's starting to bother Draisaitl that they don't get the support. And I mean, you know, it's not their fault. It's not like the players on the team are, it's their fault that they don't have that top-end talent to complement them, but yeah, they do have scoring depth issues, and this is why you play McDavid and Draisaitl all the time. And now, today, they've waived Thomas Jurco. So Jurco is Tyrati 2.0 to me. Where in the preseason, he looked really good, and we're all like, hey, this Jurco guy, pretty good. We all thought it was Jurco, now it's Jurco. Cool, but now we know it's Jurco. Well, it doesn't matter. Thomas Jurco, he's been waived. So the Oilers are still trying to figure out who they are. Yamamoto still hasn't come up to play, still hasn't been that top winger. We've still got Puljujarvi sitting over in Europe, waiting for an opportunity to come back to the NHL and prove himself. Meanwhile, he's putting up pretty good numbers in Europe while he's doing that waiting bit. And the Oilers still have these scoring depth issues. Now, the big question is, over the next month, can they continue their hot start? Can they continue to be one of the better teams in the league? The problem would be, of course, let's just say they ride this into the playoffs. You can't be a one-line team and do much in the playoffs. You might be able to survive a round. You likely won't make it through a second. So, but again, if you're an Oilers fan, you'll take a round. You will take making the playoffs and going out in the first round if it means making the playoffs for only the second time in, a decade? So yeah, the Oilers, there's a lot of question marks there. Rope Hintz apparently is out for 2 weeks for Dallas. I would have been terrified about this if it would happen 2 weeks ago. But the scoring seems to be coming together. Radulov, when he's not sitting in the penalty box, seems to be getting his points together. And Sagan has been playing better as well. So there's some reason to believe that they can absorb this loss right now. And Sekera and Polak are both nearing a return. So Polak's supposed to travel with them on their road trip. He should be back during the road trip. And Andrei Sekera is nearing a return as well. Been a lot of defensemen getting hurt for Dallas. It's been kind of freaky how many defensemen getting hurt. I think we had 3 of them get hurt in the same game. It was ridiculous. They didn't all leave the game, but I know there were 3 that got felled in the same game, and I'm like, seriously, would people stop hitting our defensemen? Yeah. So Dallas is going to be going through more injury setbacks before everybody's healthy. I don't know if everybody's going to be healthy for them at all. And one thought that I wanted to close out with, the trade last night for Jacob de la Rose, which I know some people may not be a huge fan of. I think de la Rose, part of the reason that trade happens after last night's game, I think Steen's going to be out for a while. They haven't said how long, but I think Steen's going to be out for a while. And de la Rose may very well be a guy they looked at and say, you know what, he can fill into a spot that we need filled right now. And so he may very well get some minutes that normally would go to Steen. I'll be interested to see if that's how they end up deploying him. Thought about that after I did the video. While I was jogging last night, I thought, wait a minute. De La Rose totally could take Steen's spot until he's back. So we'll see if that's the kind of move. And again, he's a useful player, so even after Steen comes back, he can play. I know he was acquired on waivers, but just because you acquire a guy on waivers doesn't mean he isn't any good. There are a lot of players, pretty good players, who've actually gone through waivers at some point in their career. I was going to do a video at one point talking about great players who'd been waived, but finding an actual list of how many times certain players have been waived and how it's not all that easy to do. I don't know if the official NHL site tracks that now. I know they've got all the historical data and they've got all the players' historical data. And I know they have transactions on there. I don't know that it shows every time a player's placed on waivers, though. I don't think so. But it would be interesting to look at and say, hey, like Daniel Briere being a famous one, that he was on waivers at one point. And, sometimes good players end up on waivers. Sometimes useful players end up on waivers. It's not a shame, and it doesn't mean that if Detroit gets something for de la Rose, that Montreal was foolish to waive him. That's just the way things work. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.